What's up everybody, Paul with Stud Pack. Welcome back to the channel. We're in Summer and Rad's beautiful kitchen that we remodeled, but we have one pesky little problem we have to deal with, and it just so happens it's sitting on our counter right here. What is this? It's our Downdraft hood, and it is cranked to 100%. So before we start working on this hood, let me get ahead of a couple of comments. In our previous video where we tried to install that hood behind the range, a lot of you are saying, downdrafts don't work. Maybe you had a bad experience with them, but it's what we got to work with here, right? Second thing I want to get ahead of is, did we buy the wrong hood? Well, the description says universal fit for any GE oven or range. This is a GE hood. GE, really well-known brand, right? Now the universal fit part, I don't know, but this is made for a cooktop without an oven, right? So you have a drop-in cooktop, no oven, you have plenty of cabinet space, so the hood would go in here, and then the blower section would be in the counter, kind of under the cooktop. So universal fit, right? So maybe we can take this section right here and just spin it in the housing. Rad and I spent a whole afternoon, took it completely apart, took the blower motor off, all the electronics, the ductwork, these clamps, we got down to the lift mechanism and we realized we cannot flip this around. Come over here, Rad, we'll show you why. These two bolts hold on the motor for the lift mechanism. And I don't know if you can just see these spot welds. That's a track for the lift mechanism, and all the lift mechanism is an arm on a motor. When you press the button to lift, that arm goes up and pushes this up on a roller. That's what this track is for. When you push it to go down, that arm moves out of the way and gravity lowers this part. So since we can't physically spin this part around, what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut a slot on this side for the air intake, and then on the back, of course, we have to block off this side. Now this is the finished side originally. We want to make this side the finished side. Try to make it look as nice as we can, including maybe moving this piece of stainless steel to this side. Stud Pack's putting away the woodworking tools today. We're dealing with some steel and stainless steel. Time to make some sparks. Let's haul this in the garage and get started. We moved into our garage. Now we want to remove this part right here. This is the section that comes up and down out of the counter. We want to remove it because I don't want any metal shavings, sparks, metal filings to work their way down into our blower, into our motor, into our track, and our electronics. So we're gonna take this thing completely apart. We got both impacts on my 1/4" socket set right here ready to go. So Rad and I are gonna work as a team, take it all apart and remove this section from the housing. Mission accomplished. We have the air intake removed from the housing, got it on a piece of drywall here on our sawhorses, and now you can see the track right here. This is the lift mechanism. There's actually a little wheel that rides right here, lifts it up, and then again, gravity pulls it down. So what I wanna do is remove this piece of stainless steel. There were 2 screws here, but it still doesn't want to come out. But if you look under this piece of gasket right here, there's a little pop rivet there, and there's another one over here. So 1/8" drill bit, I'm going to drill those out. All right, got the last rivet drilled out. This piece of stainless should slide right off. There we go. Everything you see from this point forward in this mechanism, it's all spot welded together. No more rivets, no more screws. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna measure this slot right here, flip this over, and transfer that dimension to here and cut the slot on this side. I can't see pencil or any of my marks on this black paint. Let's cover this with some tape. Transfer our slot, start cutting some steel. All right, there's our cutout. Now, how are we gonna do that? Well, we could use a jigsaw, but with the stroke of the jigsaw, the blade's gonna be pounding on the back side of this. I don't wanna do that. I got a grinder with a 1/16 metal cutoff blade. I think that's what I wanna do. But to help me go straight and to guide me, we're gonna duplicate this cutout here and a piece of plywood, clamp the plywood to our intake port here, and then the plywood will guide the blade. That's the plan anyway. Let's switch from metalworking to woodworking. All right guys, we got our template clamped to our hood intake, and I put it upside down. In other words, my kerf is facing up. And what that's gonna do for me, I can get that blade in there and get right up to my corners. So it is drizzling a little bit, but I think I can power through this. I'm just gonna take it nice and slow. Here we go. All right, guys, we've worn the blade down so much that now the grinder is hitting the plywood and I can't go any deeper. So we just took the clamps off. I'm going to remove the plywood. Now I can just finish it by hand and sneak up on these corners. I can see better anyway. I got a little bit left in the corners. I think I can just pop it out with the screwdriver. There we go. A little wiggle. Come on. There we go. And that'll just pop off like that. All right, awesome. No turning back now. Let's pull the tape off, get out the file, clean it up, see how we did. All right, really happy with the way that came out. Now we want to reuse this stainless steel backsplash. So remember, it was on the other side. It hooked on this little lip right here, boom. But I don't have that lip down here where the junction box is. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove where it's hemmed over right there. So it's going to slide on here all the way down and really dress up that bottom edge. But it's starting to rain heavier. Let's move back in the garage since most of our sparks are done. All right, there we go. We removed that hem. Not too bad considering we don't have any sheet metal tools here in the garage. But let's see how it fits. I think it's going to be perfect. Look at that. Nice, guys. Love it. All right, remember, we still got the plastic coating on there, but for right now, we're going to remove this weather stripping, well, this gasket. It actually goes on the back. I'm going to try to remove it carefully and reuse it, but if I tear it, I can easily get some more because there's room for this gasket on the back. There's no room for it on the front. And now, once we remove it, we can put our rivets back in. I'm just going to stop there, and I'm going to get one rivet in it so it stops moving on me. 1/8 inch drill bit right through the steel. Easy. That's it. All done. It's looking factory now. We will paint this, of course. Now, I know they make all kind of products that snap over the edges of sheet metal to protect that edge, but we really filed that nicely. I've got my fingers on there. I'm not getting cut at all. Got a nice little round over. So we'll get Summer in here. She'll touch that up. The front is finished. We're going to leave this protective coating on as long as we can. Flip it over. Now we got to fill this in. You get an end view rad. See, I got a little slot right there, a little slot right there. Check this out. I picked up some black anodized aluminum sheets from onlinemetals.com. Not sponsored, but man, if I need some aluminum, some brass, some copper, whatever, that's where I go. They got shipping points all over the country. You can have it in a couple of days. So check out how this is going to work. This is going to fit right in there. Look how nice that's going to look. And it's also going to fit in under this side. So we're just going to rip a piece and slide it all the way down. Put some rivets in them, paint them black. It'll look like it came from GE, just like that. Let's go out to the saw stop. We're going to put it in bypass mode because we're cutting aluminum and rip this piece of aluminum. I don't often have to cut aluminum, especially aluminum sheet metal on my saw, but this is the only way I would ever do it. Number one, I got a 60-tooth blade, very fine tooth blade in the saw. And then I would never run just the sheet metal through there. It's just gonna flop around as you go through the blade and it's gonna be very dangerous. So here's what I do. I make a sandwich. I got a piece of 3/4, top and bottom, with the sheet metal in between. I'm gonna screw all that together, basically clamping it all together. Then I can run it through the blade. And I don't even need the blade to be all the way through this piece. That way all the chips go down. I'll run all the way across, unclamp it, and we'll have 2 pieces of aluminum sheet metal. I'm going to start by just simply pushing everything towards the fence. There's the bottom plywood and the top plywood. Got some 1.5" screws right here. We're going to put one here on the side that I want to keep. One over here on the side that's the waste. 2 down here by rad. And I'm a little bouncy in the middle. See that? So my strip is 2.5 inches wide. I'm going to come out 3, drill a hole, and I want to clamp the middle as well because I don't want this thing fluttering and flapping around at all. All right, let's set up our fence, put the saw in bypass mode, cut our sheet metal. All right, we got all the screws out. Let's see how we did. There you go, guys. Perfect. Super safe too. If you ever got to cut sheet metal, make sure you make a plywood sandwich like that. Stay safe out there. Now let's cut it to length and install it on our hood. Looks fantastic. We are gaining on it now. We notice these two holes here. We're not sure what they are for, but we figured we'll just use the drop from this piece, slide it in here, couple of rivets, cover them up. All right, everybody, mission accomplished. Really, really happy with the way it turned out. We did take it outside. We blew it off with some air. Made sure we got any metal shavings, metal filings out of there. Like I said, don't want those dropping into our mechanism right here or down into our electronics. Let's peel this plastic off right now and then put it back together while it is still fresh in our brains. All right, we got the hood all back together. Let's bring it inside, install the hood. Brad, how many times did we take this thing apart, dude? You remember?
I think that was the third time.
Yeah, I think it was 3 times. We're pros now. We could do it blindfolded. You're color coordinated today.
Who?
You. Yeah, go ahead and hook yours. You on?
Yep.
All right, guys, home stretch. Now, we got the hood in place. I got my torpedo level on there, and I'm using my right knee to get it plumb because I'm trying to measure up and fit this ductwork over here on the right. If I were to let it go, it's going to swing to me, and it messes up my alignment. So I'm holding it plumb, and I have this 190 on here. This is a 6-inch adjustable 90. I've got it at the maximum offset, but as you can see, I'm not quite far enough towards me, and it's not long enough. So I got 2 options. We have another one of these. I could take this one apart and use half of it and then get the other one, cobble the 2 together so I have a longer adjustable 90 and one that gives me more of an offset. But that's a lot of work, and it would mean I would be down here for a long time, longer than I want to be. So what we're gonna do, we are just gonna use this piece of 6-inch aluminum flex. That was in the attic from the previous hood installation, the microwave hood. I know a lot of you aren't gonna like that we're using that, but it's only for this very short run right here. It's aluminum. To me, it's gonna be fine. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, if we're gonna use that on this section right here, can you see that, Rad?
Yeah.
This piece of duct won't fit over this. So I have a tool that's gonna put a crimp all the way around the edges of this and essentially make the diameter smaller so that that duct fits over our boot on the hood. Hope that all makes sense. I'm gonna get out of here. Let's crimp this fitting and get this hood installed. All right, ready to go, ready to start reducing the size of this duct right here. I've got these Malco C5 duct crimpers. See what they do? I gotta go all the way around the edge and crimp them, and it's basically gonna make the diameter of this smaller. It's gonna start right there. This one's gonna be a little more challenging because I have this hemmed edge, so it's pretty strong right here. 2 layers of sheet metal instead of 1, but I think they're gonna work just fine. There we go. See what it's doing? Just got to go all the way around. See you back here in about an hour.
Yeah.
All right, all done crimping. Only took a couple of minutes, so let's give it a test fit. Now this wouldn't even go on there before. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. That's going to be awesome. Now, I would like for this end to go inside of our fitting in the wall. It's already got this crimp on it. For some reason, I've never seen this stuff crimped, but it's not enough. So I'm simply going to use these and go around the edges and crimp this as well. So it will go inside the fitting in the wall. Got our crimp all made. Fits great inside that fitting. Now, it's going to be really hard for me to tape that because I can barely get my hands around there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the tape before I put this on. I can actually get it in there pretty easily, just like that. Now I'm behind the fitting. I'm going to come around, make sure we're tight. I can also put duct sealant on the inside if I feel like I don't have an airtight seal on the outside with the tape. So here we go. All right, I am in. Pull my tape around. And this is aluminum tape, none of that cheap foil tape or plastic tape that you see sometimes in the ductwork section. This stuff is expensive, but man, it's well worth it. All right, this is attached with our foil tape. Now I can't get my hands around part of it because we're so close to the framing and the drywall, but I want to make sure I have an airtight seal. But I can get my hand in here and I can feel the inside of the fitting. So that's what I'm going to seal. And I'm going to use this air duct sealant. If you've never seen this before, we wanted to show it to you so that you know it's available. Get this in the home centers. It's back in the back of the store with all the ductwork the fittings, the grills, and all that. So I'm just going to put some on my, let's see, I think I want to, no, I'll use my right hand. I'm just going to put some on my hand. Oh, wow, I'm going to put some on my hand, and then I'm going to get inside there. There, now I'm spreading it on the inside of the fitting. It's going to make sure we have 100% airtight seal. Finally ready to install the hood. Now real quick, let me show you how we cut this ductwork. I use scissors. I used to use a utility knife, but kind of dangerous. Got these nice Klein titanium coated shears right here, and they cut this stuff like it was nothing. So we cleaned up the end of the piece over there, and now we're ready to install the hood. So it's made to go in a cabinet, and it's got these feet that are designed to hold the weight of it on the bottom of the cabinet. We don't have a cabinet, so earlier we Lexelled that 4x4 down so the brackets will sit on the 4x4. Up top right here, it clamps to our stone countertop, and this bolt is made obviously to go on the bottom. We don't want this steel bolt bearing on the bottom of our stone. We could crack it, so I just made these little plastic shims out of a horseshoe shim. I drilled a hole in it, not all the way through, and that hole will go on the bolt, and we put some Lexell on top just to hold it in case anybody ever takes this off. These will stay in place and not get lost. A lot of details in this hood. We're finally ready to install it. Plug it in, see how well it works. Let's get it finished. All right, team, we are all connected back here with our ductwork. Came out great. This is solid. We're attached to our block on the floor, hooked to our cabinet. So next step for us, I'm a little anxious about this, but I'm kind of excited. We're going to plug it in. I'm anxious because we took it all apart 3 times. Let's see if it works. Push the button. You got to hold it.
Oh.
Nice.
Nice.
Fan automatically comes on. Sweet.
Oh.
Cool, man. Nice. All right, got the fan maximum volume. Got my hand back here, just checking all the joints. Rad actually taped all this. Awesome job, bud. I don't feel a single leak.
Thanks.
Let's power this thing down, put the oven back.
Whoa, Paul, what are those? I thought you always wear white socks.
No, man, those are my new Camel City Mill socks. These socks are actually double-plated nylon merino wool. They have like a double layer on the bottom. I can actually feel that when I'm walking around. I'm really comfortable in my work boots. And the toe and the heel is reinforced. So my big toe is not going to make a hole anymore at the big toe where I always have a hole. And even if it does make a hole there, these socks have a 10-year guarantee. I can just send them back and get a new pair. Oh, and check this out, Rad. I actually brought in my old work socks. Well, one of the pair anyway. My wife usually buys these like a 10-pack, and they don't last any time at all. I always notice the holes in the toes. Look at that. Got a big one starting on a couple little ones right there. But I never noticed that one. Big old hole in the heel right there. So these are going in the trash. And these socks are also awesome if you have sweaty feet. They're gonna wick the sweat away from your skin and keep your feet nice, cool, and dry. So if you're ready to up your sock game, you're tired of sweaty feet and holes in your socks, check out Camel City Mill. We'll leave a link below in the description. And if you use the code STUDPACK at checkout, you're gonna get 10% off. Thanks so much to Camel City Mill for sponsoring our video. We really appreciate it. Let's get back to work. All right, really excited. The oven's all the way back. Hood is working perfectly. Now, are we done? Not quite. We actually have 3 more little things to do. You're probably wondering about grease filters. The hood did come with these 2 little baby ones, but I don't even know why, because they're not even big enough to cover the whole opening. So I went home last night and I searched online for custom hood grease filters, and you can actually buy them. So I'm just going to get a skinny one made that goes all the way across, and I can drop it in there like that. Actually, so this is a pull tab. You can get those too, something like that. And if we need to, we can put some rare earth magnets on the top to hold it to the steel up there. So we're going to take care of the grease filter. The other thing we got to do, we have a little gap in the back right here. You can see it when the hood is in the down position. So we're simply going to get some more of this black anodized aluminum, rip a strip the same way we ripped this, and put it down there with some Lexell, paint the edges, and it's gonna look just like this piece right here. The third thing we gotta do, if you've been watching our video series on this kitchen or our channel at all, you know on our very first visit here, the microwave hood that was right here was vented into the attic, not through the roof. It's been blowing in the attic for 30 years. So now that we got all the downstairs done, Rad actually picked up a roof jack this morning, so he's gonna go on the roof and install this, and we're gonna make sure that our hood is vented all the way through the roof. We hopped up here in the attic. We wanted to show you the ductwork in the attic. We actually had the fan on high, and check it out. All this insulation right here, all the way up here, blowing. We got plenty of airflow. Really love the way that came out. Now we got to get it outside, right? So we're gonna put a roof jack right about here. I was gonna put it here, but check this out. This is a wall, goes straight up, and this roof butts into that wall. So if I put a jack in here, I'm probably gonna run into the metal step flashing, right? Coming off that wall. So I wanna be over here. Really no science to this. I'm just gonna go in the middle of the bay and drill a hole. Here we go. There we go. Now Rad can go up on the roof, find that bit, start putting in his roof jack. And while Rad works on the vent on the roof, I'm gonna cut that aluminum strip for behind the hood to make it all look nice. I'm gonna throw my saw stop in bypass mode and get it cut. All right, we ripped a 1/2 inch wide strip just like we ripped this aluminum before. Now I'm gonna cut it to length. A little bit of gloss black, cover up the edges.
Right, there's the vent. It got a little scratched up. It fell off the roof, but it looks great and we're done. So there's a million different YouTube videos online on how to do this. Personally, I do like to use some sealant, so I just use a little through the roof and I seal this inside edge right in the middle there, all the way around, a connected bead of sealant. And then I just put 3 nails, one underneath this shingle, one under this shingle, and then one under this shingle just to hold it nice and tight. But that looks great. It's gonna work great. Let's go work on the inside.
All right, back in the attic, Rad did a super job on the roof boot. Now we just gotta connect point A to point B. So this 90 won't fit on there, so we're just gonna crimp it just like we did downstairs and make our way up there. Now, I know we're gonna get some comments about all the fittings we're putting in, but we already checked the manufacturer's directions on the maximum length of the ductwork, including fittings. We're well within spec. Let's start crimping some ducts. All done with the ductwork, really simple, really quick to do. And remember, the old hood was just blowing air, exhaust air in this attic for 30 years. Finally got it through the roof. Now here's a key detail that I omit. I never put tape right here between the ductwork and the roof jack. That's because if we ever have the roof redone, the roof guys, when they demo it, they're just gonna rip this roof boot off, right? If it were taped, it's not gonna come off and they could damage our ductwork. We don't want that to happen, so no tape right there, and then that'll make it easy for them to center it on the duct when they reshingle. So one more little step to do, that piece of aluminum we spray painted, it's all dry, let's go install it. Here's our custom-made aluminum strip, gave it a coat of gloss black so it matches our hood, and we made it the same length as the hood, so it looks like it came directly from GE. And we're gonna put it right there, and we're simply gonna attach it with some Lexel, put a board on it, a little bit of weight, let it dry overnight, it'll be all ready. Awesome, Rad, that came out great. I love projects like this. You first see them and it's like, how in the world are we gonna fix that? But we pulled it off. And it came out great. Leave us a comment and let us know how you think we did. So if you have a flimsy like button and you need to trim it, now you know that you can sandwich it between 2 pieces of wood and then trim it off, then smash it for us. And while you're right there, please subscribe. If you're looking for some more Stud Pack, you can find us on Instagram at Stud Pack Official, and we have a second channel called Stud Pack 2. And if you're looking for some Stud Pack merch, this is kind of OG. Check us out over at bunkerbranding.com. Guys, thanks so much for all the support. We'll see you right back here on our very next Stud Pack video.